Let's talk to him. Excuse me, Mr. Blackwood?
Good day, gentlemen. You just missed Mr. Blackwood, I'm afraid. I'm Lars Sorensen, his assistant. Perhaps I can help you.
I'm Sherlock Holmes, and this is my colleague, Dr. Watson. We're assisting the police in a murder investigation.
Very thrilling work, I wager. We don't slaughter our corpses here. These victims are deceased when they arrive.
Very droll, Mr. Sorensen. Perhaps that's what passes for professional humor around here. Well... let's go through the options. What is Mr. Blackwood's interest in Miss Sarah Caraway?
I'm sure I don't know. I've never heard of the woman.
How does Mr. Blackwood spend his evenings?
I have no idea. I'm his employee, not his guardian.
Snappish, are we? Might we look around the shop?
Help yourselves, but I warn you to exercise great care.
Where is Mr. Blackwood now?
Out, obviously.
What a pissy little dick. Well, let's take a look around, shall we? Despite its blue-gray color, this female is a great red kangaroo from the inland plains of Australia. Well, not a lot of things you can look at here. Let's see here. Got tools. The edge of the table is covered with many tools of the taxidermist art. A small stack of saws, cutting pliers, needles of various sizes, thread, crooked awls, and a camel hair brush. Some of the taxidermist's chemical preparations are open and clearly contribute to the foul smell of the workshop. The jars are variously labeled: burnt alum, chlorine of lime, saltpetre, arsenic, camphor, tincture of musk, and salt of tartar. Arsenic and camphor? Arsenic and camphor. Arsenic and camphor. Common soap, salt of tartar, and camphor analysis reveals late powdered, highly toxic arsenic. They seem pretty consistent. That's interesting. It's very interesting. It's as if everything in here matches up perfectly with what we know to have existed in the crime scene. The taxidermist has exercised considerable skill on the head of this extremely large specimen of African buffalo. The span of its horns measures almost 7 feet, even though the tip of the horn is missing. Huh. Watson, anything to contribute here? Watson, what do you make of the animals here? Definitely some of the same workmanship as the moose we saw in the tobacco shop, Holmes. If nothing else, this Blackwood is an artist worthy of his craft. Let's take a look at this carcass. A Thompson's gazelle, whose thoracic cavity has been sliced open. The animal's hide shows signs of deterioration, doubtless the result of its long trip from the Serengeti to London. Well, what about this stuff right here? There was a smock, right? Let's see. Take a look at this smock. A heavily soiled and smelly smock hangs on a brass hook. It appears to be too small to comfortably fit the man working at the table. It's probably not Lars. What about this pail? This large pail is partially uncovered, and the unmistakably pungent odor of formaldehyde assaults the nostrils of those around it, excepting those of the specimen, of course. Well, I guess I know what that smells like. If you've ever been to an anatomy lab in any medical school, you'll know what formaldehyde smells like. And it smells delicious. I'm just kidding. What's this knife? Huh. Interesting. This knife could be easily mistaken for a surgeon's scalpel, were it not for the fact that the blade is slightly longer and its cutting edge serrated, presumably to saw through an animal's hide. cutting edge is serrated. Oh my god. I think the guy is Blackwood. I think Blackwood was the guy who killed Sarah. We gotta find him pronto. Maybe we can catch him before he gets away with whatever he was that he stole from Sarah. There was that big wound right around the neck, right? The heavy chain where he tore something off. We might be able to find out what that is. Watson, would you not describe this knife as a serrated scalpel? I would indeed, Holmes. I've never seen an instrument like it. Okay, Lars. I need information. To whom does this smock belong? Belongs to Mr. Blackwood. I take better care of my equipment. He's a very messy fellow. Okay. What is this knife used for? Well, it's not for slicing roast beef. Please be careful. It's extremely sharp. I use it for separating skin from the soft tissue underneath, among other things. I believe a knife like this was used to kill Miss Sarah Caraway. Perhaps this very knife. Now it's time to bust out the chops, Holmes. Let's do this. Your situation is serious, Mr. Sorensen. I'll see you are charged as an accessory to murder if you do not assist me. It is urgent that I find Mr. Blackwood. No need to threaten me, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you what I know. I overheard Blackwood making an appointment to meet someone at the Surrey commercial docks. That's a huge area. Can't you be more specific? Sorry, that's all I know, except that knife there belongs to Blackwood. Give us a brief description of Blackwood, if you will. He is medium build with gray hair. He wears a top hat and a monocle. Let's see if he's got anything else to give us. Mr. Sorensen, could I ask you just one more thing? No, Mr. Holmes. I've told you everything I know. Now, if you excuse me, I need to finish this gazelle before it rots. Oh, boy. Watson did mention something about this place, the Surrey docks, being very, very huge, right? How can we efficiently scour the Surrey commercial docks for Blackwood? Perhaps the redoubtable canine Toby can help. Indeed, he might be able to pick up Mr. Blackwood's scent. Now, to pick up a scent, the dog needs something else to compare it with. Now, we already know that the scalpel is probably... No, it's not going to work. This guy Lars had the scalpel. He had used the scalpel too, so he might just lead us back here. But the smock. He did say the smock was exclusively Mr. Blackwood's. If we take it with us and use it as a sort of guide for our dog, we might be able to get this done. All right, time to leave. For murderer hunting, we will go. Let's do this. Murder busters! There's something strange in the London hood. Who you gonna call? Sherlock Holmes. Wow, this place is weird. Let's take a look around before we talk to the old man Sherman here. Though clearly a sort of pet, this badger is hardly tame. He continually hisses, claws the floor, and bares his teeth when anyone, even old Sherman, comes within 10 feet of him. A sturdy, empty cage. This young, long-tailed parrot from South America is caged. Given that Sherman's other birds roam freely around the shop, it may be assumed that this macaw is either living up to his species' reputation for viciousness, or that Sherman is concerned that the species carries psittacosis. I assume that's some sort of bacterial or myconic. It's probably a protozoan disease that you spread around bird to bird, sort of like. Oh, whatever. It's some sort of disease.